All right. When we come to this place, we are reminded of what is written in the Torah, the law of Moses. And there's a promise. Leviticus chapter 26, 7 and 8 says, "And ye shall chase your enemies, and they shall fall before you by the sword. And 5 of you shall chase 100, and 100 of you shall put 10,000 to flight, and your enemies shall fall before you by the sword." This is known as the Springs of Gideon, because something very significant happened here. And that's found in Judges 7, 1 to 22. "Then Jerubbaal, who is Gideon, and all the people that were with him, rose up early and pitched beside the well of Harod. So the host of the Midianites were on the north side of them by the hill of Morah in the valley. And the Lord said unto Gideon, The people that are with thee are too many for me to give the Midianites into their hands, lest Israel vaunt themselves against me, saying, My old hand has saved me. Now therefore go to proclaim in the ears of the people, saying, Whosoever is fearful and afraid, let him return and depart early from Mount Gilead. And there returned of the people 22,000, and there remained 10,000. And the Lord said unto Gideon, The people are yet too many. Bring them down into the water, and I will try them for thee there. And it shall be that of whom I say unto thee, This shall go with thee, the same shall go with thee. And whomsoever I say unto thee, This shall not go with thee, the same shall not go. So he brought down the people unto the water, and the Lord said unto Gideon, Every one that lappeth the water with his tongue as a dog lappeth him shall thou set by himself. Likewise every one that boweth down to the knees to drink. A number of people that lapped, putting their hands to their mouth, were 300 men. But all the rest of the people bowed down upon their knees to drink water. And the Lord said unto Gideon, By the 300 men that lapped will I save you, and deliver the Midianites into thine hand. Let all the other people go every man unto his place. So the people took victuals in their hand, and their trumpets, and sent the rest of Israel every man unto his tent, and retained those 3,000 men, and the host of Midian was beneath him in the valley. It came to pass the same night that the Lord said unto him, Arise, get thee down unto the host, for I have delivered it unto thy hand. But if thou fear to go down, thou with Purah thy servant down to the host, and thou shalt hear what they say, and afterwards thine hand shall be strengthened to go down into the host. And went down with Purah his servant unto the outside of the armed men that were in the host. And the Midianites and the Amalekites and all the children of the east lay along the valley like grasshoppers for a multitude, and their camels were without number, as the sand of the sea side for multitude. And when Gideon was come, behold, there was a man that told a dream unto his fellow, and said, Behold, I dream a dream. And lo, a cake of barley bread tumbled unto the host of Midian, and came into the tent, and smote it, and fell, and overturned it. That tent lay along. And his fellow answered and said, This is nothing else save the sword of Gideon, the son of Joash, man of Israel. For into his hand hath God delivered Midian, and all his host. And it was so, when Gideon heard the telling of the dream and the interpretation thereof, he worshipped and returned into the host of Israel, and said, Arise, for the Lord hath delivered into your hand the host of Midian. And he divided the 300 into 3 companies, and he put a trumpet in every man's hand, with empty pitchers and lamps within the pitchers. And he said unto them, Look on me, and do likewise, and behold, when I come in the outside of the camp, that it shall be that, as I do, so shall ye do. And I blow the trumpet, I and all that are with me, then blow ye the trumpets on every side of the camp, and say, The sword of the Lord and of Gideon. So Gideon and 300 men that were with him came to the outside of the camp in the beginning of the middle watch, and they had but newly set the watch, and they blew the trumpets and broke the pitchers that were in their hands, and the 3 companies blew trumpets and broke pitchers, and held the lamps in their left hand, and the trumpets in their right hand to blow withal. And they cried, the sword of the Lord and of Gideon. And they stood every man in his place, and round the camp, and all the host ran and cried and fled. And 300 blew the trumpets, and the Lord set every man's sword against his fellow, even throughout all the host. And the host fled to Bethshittan and Zarephath, unto the border of Abel-Meholah, unto Tabath. So, you see here the springs, and you see the water flowing, and what the children of Israel did. Some got down and drank like dogs, and others put their hands to the water and drank like that. There's only 300 of them. And what the Lord was telling Gideon, it is not numbers that win battles, but it's the Lord. 300 against the host, and they won. We've already seen another example. We've seen a couple of examples. Remember Abraham, 318 armed servants went after 5 armies and defeated them. We've seen the battles that took place, especially in 1948, Yom Kippur, and for all intents and purposes, even the world recognizes that the modern battles of Israel are just as miraculous. How do we know that? West Point does not study the battles that took place in Israel, because they are military impossibilities. They are miracles. And I want to end with just one more person, and one of the places I've never been to, but I want to go someday, is Michmash. And there we find Jonathan and his armor bearer going up against the host of the Philistine, 2 against the whole army. And Jonathan said to the young man that bare his armor, come, let us go over unto the garrison of these uncircumcised. It may be that the Lord will work for us, for there's no strength to the Lord to save by many or by a few. This is a reminder that the sword of the Lord is with his people. He's brought the people back to the land of Israel, and the modern state of Israel is just as great a miracle as the stories we have read about in other portions of the scriptures. He is back, he has not forsaken his people, and he's coming back real soon. Thank you.